I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not feeling good. This is probably the lowest I've felt regarding Arsenal for quite a long time. And I'm not going to shy away from that. Just talk me through, Jonny, how you felt as we conceded that goal. What went through your head when that last minute, 95th minute, Calafiori own goal, but I think that's a bit harsh on him. How did you feel when that went in?
Do you know what? It's a mixture of shock. It's weird. It's the weirdest feeling, and this is what Arsenal can sometimes do. I saw that coming, so it felt like a very bleak night. The performance was diabolical. I said in our group chat just before that goal went in, I was like, just get this over and done with. I saw Trossard wasting time. Just get the 3 points and get out of here. I saw it coming, but I was still in shock. And I don't think it's even settled in yet that we conceded 2 goals after being 2 goals up at the worst club, one of the worst clubs in Premier League history, one of the worst teams, sorry, not worst clubs, one of the worst teams in Premier League history, to concede 2 goals and drop points there. It feels big. It feels like it's a pivotal moment, and it feels like a lot of the criticism that we've had over the past few weeks, well, for the last 10, 15 years, it felt like it rang true tonight. That's why it feels so big for me. Yeah, all of the criticisms about this season about I'll let you get back in, Laura. I'm still trying to process it. I can't believe it.
What you've just said there perfectly encapsulates how I feel, because I've had people messaging me as always, and I don't really have a defence at the moment. Usually I tend to bite back and say, but I've got one friend who's a Man United fan. And in fairness, I think he we have very, very good kind of back and forth. And he said to me, it's happening again, isn't it? And I had to be like, doesn't look good. Yeah, like I just don't have a defence at the moment. That performance, that result, I just have to sit there. And sometimes you just have to sit and take it, because so much of that, as you say, Jonny, the performance, indefensible. Let's just go back to when life was okay and we were happy. We started really well. This is what I think is going to take so long to digest. Is we in the group chat were like, it'd be great if we can get an early goal, etc. We've got Saka playing in the midfield again. We go 1-0 up. Jobs are good, and it wasn't a vintage first half, and I think there were signs that we were about to make it a little bit tighter than it needed to be. But we were 2-0 up. We were 2-0 up, and it's just, oh gosh, I think back to the person that I was an hour and a half ago, and I want to give her a hug and be like, this is the last time you're going to be happy for a while, so just really cherish it.
Yeah. When that first goal went in, I thought that, like you said, that's everything we needed for this sort of game. I knew the snow was about to come. I've been sharing weather reports all day thinking, we're up in Wolverhampton with the sleet and snow tonight. The script is already written for us to drop points in unfavourable weather, but we got the goal early. Saka was playing in the 10. Looked like it was a masterstroke from Mikel to make that decision. We looked comfortable because of how poor Wolves are. And I want to state, I think that's one of the reasons why I'm as pissed off as I am now. That is a really bad team. I know this league is very competitive and everyone on their day can beat everyone else. Don't get me wrong. That's a team with 9 points that we were 2-0 up against. And so it shouldn't have even... We were 1-0, 2-0 up. We were 1-0 up, the Saka goal. And the whole of that first half, we were in first, second gear. And the word I had to describe that first half performance was sloppy, complacent, but we were doing just about enough. We were in first, second gear. We'd probably see it out just because of the fact that Wolves were so bad. That's why. Not because we were any good, because we didn't really put together any decent attacks or anything. There wasn't any sort of cohesion in our play and no fluidity. There was a couple times even when Raya maybe was a little bit shaky. That was a sign of what was to come. And also our centre-backs didn't look great. But I was thinking to myself, actually, towards the end of the first half, which we were really bad towards the end of the first half, I was thinking if they had Strand Larsen and they could actually sustain an attack, we'd be in a little bit of trouble here.
I think the word you've used there, sloppy, I think is really, really key throughout almost everyone on the pitch today. There were missed passes. And for me, what is so sort of devastating about this performance is that it has felt like it's been coming a little bit. Obviously, we had the kind of Brentford draw, but we can turn that on its head and say, actually, Brentford are a good side. This feels like all of our chickens coming home to roost. To quote Mark from Peep Show, it's a roostathon. And that sloppiness has left us conceding in the last minute. And as you said, let's give a bit of credit to Wolves. They scored an absolute banger. What I will say though is we have conceded a few of these goals. We have conceded a few really, really good goals from the outside, on the edge of the box. And at some point you have to go, if you're giving players that much space, they're gonna try. We saw it against Man United. Yeah, we're inviting danger, and I think that was just a case in point of a sloppy team just losing their heads.
Completely losing their heads. The second goal summed it up as well. But with regards to what you were saying there about the goals from long range, if you see tonight, Raya was standing about 20 metres off his line. Now, he's not the tallest keeper in the world. He hasn't got a great record with saving shots from long distance. And I know he wants to have that aggressive starting position, and I know he's a front foot keeper, but that was almost a lob. That was it. He had no business being that far off his line when we were in that position, in that sort of game state. There was no business being there, and he's done that too often. And then the second goal was just a calamity. I'm not going to lie to you, Laura. I turned it off because I knew it was going to happen. I turned it off. I was fuming after that second goal, and I went upstairs and said, "Listen, I'm gonna go to the toilet. I'll prepare for this."
Yeah, I turned it straight off. My husband turned it straight off. I'd say when we went into injury time and we started time wasting, I was like, "This is going to end very, very badly." And I don't know where you are. I don't know what the weather is like where you are, Jonny, but it is raining heavily where I am, and I was seriously considering taking my dog out for a walk as a way of avoiding watching us try and close out this game, because I was like, that will be more enjoyable than watching Arsenal do this. And it got worse. And the equaliser, I don't know what Calafiori's supposed to do. I know it's gone down as an own goal and it kind of like deflects off him, but it's a mix up between what has been a very, very good defence, but at a crucial moment, we failed. And I think you mentioned earlier, Jonny, that Raya had a few little hicks, little yips throughout the game.
Yeah.
And it's the second time that's happened. We obviously conceded that one at Sunderland earlier in the season in a similar vein.
Mistakes.
And it's representative of mistakes, head loss. I don't want to use the B word, but my gosh, you cannot say that we haven't bottled that, because you were 2-0 up.
Oh my God, I feel like, apart from the United game, every point we've dropped this season has been a little bit down to head loss and a weak psychological. I can't see how you don't say that. Listen, this is a team, I can't state it anymore, that have 9 points. They aren't even in double digits. We are nearly in March, and had to see out a game, manage a game. You're a far better team. You've been lauded for how good your defence are. See that game out, but it was just coming, and it is very difficult. You said earlier in the show, Laura, that you normally try and defend yourself to all the critics and all the criticism that we get, and you defend our club, and we've been doing that all season. I don't have a defence, and I really don't. There is no spin on this performance. They gave us nothing to hang our hat on, and they've let us down. And it's simple as that. The good thing is, I'm not trying to put a spin on this. Yes, we have got Spurs away at the weekend. That we should be relishing that opportunity. But with the way we just finished that game, I'll be honest, are the boys up for it? Because that is pressure now. That's a pressure game now. That's what really, if you've got bottle, you're going to need it Sunday, mate.
And you're right. The way that we finished that game, I mean, I didn't see this, and presumably you didn't either, because you turned the TV off like I did. But Gabriel Jesus supposedly completely lost his mind at the final whistle, which, I do get and everything, but it's not a good way to finish a game knowing where we go on Sunday. Again, just trying to find a couple of positives. First goal for Pierre Capier, one that he will almost definitely not want to remember, but a nice moment for him, a great finish. Yay! He scored his first goal, great finish. Something that the rest of the forwards could maybe learn from. And at that point, I thought, great, we're 2-0 up, we're on for a good evening. But we have also, Jonny, got into a habit of conceding goals quickly after scoring. And I think that is something that we are going to really, really have to fix quickly, because it's that very fine margins that we like to play on. But when we are in this high pressure environment, the kind of emotional stretch it gives you of going ahead and then immediately conceding to kind of get yourself up and go again when we're not playing particularly well, it feels like we are playing with our hands handcuffed behind our backs, and we have handcuffed our hands behind our backs. We have done it to ourselves. No one else has done this. We've gone 1-0 ahead, and that'll do. You know, it's staggering.
Well, not to throw the baby out with the bathwater tonight, but if we were playing like this, and you say this was by design, we were playing sort of with this handbrake on because we were relying on this defence. I think tonight is a big wake-up call. We can't rely on us being able to manage games out and manage 1-goal leads. We need to probably move to a more expansive way of playing. We need to move to a more risk-taking style of play where we can actually kill off games. Because if you go 1-0 up after 8 minutes at Wolves, and you're already 4 points clear at the top of the league, you have to see that out. You have to go 2-3-4. That's what Liverpool, Man City, all the great teams would have done before. You go 1-0 up after 8 minutes, it's game done. This, unless there's some sort of change, we can't now be in. We're going to struggle. I think we will struggle. I think the players will struggle having a 1-goal lead going into the last 20 minutes of games to see them out. Because if you can't hold it or manage a game against Wolves, who on earth can you manage a game against? And as we're going, I saw Lee Dixon doing a little bit today for a new channel talking about the running and what's needed and the sort of the mentality needed from the senior players and the younger players, and how these months now, they now become very difficult. Everything becomes a little bit more intense. We've just conceded 2 goals. I'm sorry I keep repeating myself. We've just conceded 2 goals to one of the worst teams in Premier League history and giving away a 2-goal lead. We now need to start scoring goals, and quickly. We need to start making the most of we had 84% in the first possession in the first half. We didn't create anything with it. We need more from this team now, and we need to start scoring 2, 3, 4 goals, because we can't rely on our back four anymore.
No, and that's a very, very good point, Jonny, because I think we have in part got to where we are at the moment because we've been so solid at the back, which has sort of compensated for even when we were scoring set pieces. You know, we've never been a team that finds it particularly easy to score multiple goals per game. It's a far cry from the team that, 2 years ago went to Sheffield United and West Ham and slapped 5 and 6 past them. We have relied on our back four. We have also relied on our back four scoring for us, which, to be fair, Nketiah did today. And I'm just reading the notes there. Finn, you've just ruined my life with that. Man City now technically have things in their hands. If they win every game, they win the title.
Oh, dear me.
Just let that sink in. Just let that sink in. And do you know what, Jonny? I think what's really, really landing with me this evening is, do I expect Man City to win every game? They probably could. They've got it in the locker. Do I expect us to win every game on the basis of tonight? No. But it's not over till it's over. It's not over until the fat lady sings and the bald man has his hands on the trophy. It's not over. But tonight, I think, has been a harrowing experience as an Arsenal fan. And the only thing we can do is kind of stick together and have a bit of a laugh and a cry. Yeah,
well, it felt like watching, genuinely, even before we conceded, it felt like watching Nightmare on Elm Street. There was a feeling of a haunted horror movie I was watching. I just knew it was going to happen, which is why I can't believe why I'm so shocked. But at the same time, like I said, now for all those players out there, and I've tried my best, because I know that these players are chronically online, and I know that they care about what the fans think, and they know they're representing us. I've been trying to be encouraging. I've been trying to be protective of them. I think there's a time for a bit of a reality check now. The next 2 months, and this is no word of a lie, and this isn't me doing superlatives or anything else. The next 2 months will define the rest of your career, genuinely. Because I'll be real, if we don't win this title, none of these players will ever live it down, no matter where they go, no matter what corner of the earth they go to play in. Is that real? We now have to stand up and be men. And as a fan base, I'm scared tonight. I'm not scared. I'm disgusted at the performance, but the first time I've been very confident all season. I'm a little bit worried now, but the players will be even more worried. But these next 2 months are going to define you, and how you react on Sunday is how it starts. So, boys, what have you got? What you got in the locker?
What have they got in the locker? What have the Arsenal social media team got in the locker? Like, they're going to have to go and pull out the video of their lives to get us gas for this North London derby, because Spurs have been sitting at home getting their toenails painted while we've been slogging it up to Wolves and throwing away 2-0 leads. I'm trying to think of anyone in particular. This is such an interesting performance to try and evaluate from where did it actually go wrong. For me, there were moments of catastrophic errors across the park, but sloppiness from every single player on that pitch. Zubimendi had the yips. Martinelli, just again a really frustrating game from him. And it's really hard because, as you say, they have been such a kind of good team. But there was a moment, I don't know if you caught it, Jonny, where we had a corner and Declan Rice and Eze were having a bit of a go at each other. And my husband and I said to each other, that's not good. That's not a good vibe to have. I don't know what it was about, whether who was taking it. But if that tension starts to creep into the players on the pitch, that's where you're really, really in trouble. And I don't know what that was about, but it's certainly, once the players start beefing with each other, the game's gone. Game's gone. Yeah. I definitely saw that. I mean, as I said, leadership. I've said all season I've been sort of impressed with how many I say potential leaders because I only call leaders. You're only really a leader if you lead your team to victory in the long run. But we've got a lot of senior players and players that I feel that can get the team together. There's going to have to be some serious talks. There's going to have to be some. We've only got 3 days before. We've got 3 days of prep before we go to Spurs. But yeah, we're gonna have to get the team together. Arteta's gonna be fuming because I know he's gonna be fuming with that performance. But he's also got to put that aside a bit and think, okay, cool. I can't really afford to have to go too mad at these players because I need them. We need them big time on Sunday. This is a time to bring people together. It's a time to harmonise rather than criticise. But there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work to do in the next few days. I'm shocked. It's a lot. It's a very, very quick turnaround from a very, very emotional kind of situation. Just hot off the press, Saka, I think, spoke to the media afterwards and essentially just said it's not really the pressure, it's just that our standards have slipped, which, he's obviously not going to come out and say, yeah, we absolutely bottled that. Sorry, lads, title's gone. But yes, your standards have slipped, but they've slipped way, way too far. Yeah, way, way too far.
I think it's a really interesting insight into how they've sort of framed that, how Arteta's framed that, and the rest of the leadership group have framed that to the rest of the team. But standards slipping at this time of the season is to do with pressure and is to do with mentality. We saw that coming. We sleepwalked into that draw. We literally sleepwalked into that draw. You can't play in first and second gear at any ground in the Premier League in 2026. You've got to be at least at third or fourth gear, and especially if you haven't even seen the game out. If you're 3-4-0 up, fair enough, take the foot off the gas. But there was this feeling of complacency and sloppiness right throughout that game. And I've been saying this on most of the match reaction pods. There's been a lack of urgency. This lack of urgency that it's as if we forget what's on the line and we just start going through the motions. I mean, Timber tonight I thought was one of the worst performances I've seen from Timber. I've been saying for a little while about Timber is that he's brilliant in terms of retaining possession, but he never makes a risky pass. To be fair, he put some crosses in tonight, but up until tonight, I couldn't even tell you what Timber cross looked like. He doesn't
they were all putting crosses in. That's all they were doing. Yeah. All they were doing for the bit of the kind of first half is like, right, well, we're just going to pepper the box with crosses, and none of them were particularly good. So, I agree. That's not particularly helpful either. He also just looks he looks like he needs a rest. But certainly not a vintage performance.
No.
Right, Jonny, where do we go? Where do we go from here? What are you gonna think to yourself? What can we think to ourselves as Arsenal fans, as a collective, when we wake up tomorrow morning? I'd highly advise to everyone, just remove yourself from social media. You don't need to be there. You don't need to respond to anything. Just remove yourself. Go outside. Well, don't go outside if you live in London because it's going to be pissing with rain. Go and read a book. What are you going to do tomorrow, Jonny, to just decompress and try and get yourself up for Sunday?
I think the best thing would be for a day. I know it's very difficult, but you've given perfect advice there, Laura. I think try and stay away from X. Try and stay away from WhatsApp groups, which will irritate you. It's never going to feel as bad as it does now. So give yourself at least 12 hours. If you've got work, go into work, have your morning, don't engage, wait until at least the afternoon. You've had a nice lunch and then maybe you can deal with it because it is going to be terrible tomorrow morning. Every single criticism that has been levied at this team will be on full force tomorrow morning. So just stay away from it. We need to protect our excuse my language. We need to protect our peace for a day or two just so we can get up on Friday and Saturday. We can start getting up for Spurs. But for now, we need to have a little break. So after you've watched us, go and focus on your life. Because you have a luxury the players don't. The players have to get through this and they have to sort of muster the courage to go to Spurs on Sunday. We have the luxury of taking a little break for half a day.
Jonny, I think that is perfect advice to end on. So you've heard what the man says. Go and have a nice day for yourselves and we will see you on Friday for the show.